This is Smarter San Diego TV.
Millennials and baby boomers alike, they want to be in urban environments right now.
Thank God for the Electoral College vote.
In a 4-hour breakfast, we raised $9,000. So that's something that we take pretty seriously.
And you can't diet your way into being lean and fit. They go together.
In New York City, deciding what's best for the rest of the freaking country.
This is not a market built on a stack of cards. It's a solid foundation.
0%. That is a thumbs up.
Everyone has a life worth telling a story about. And the more adversity that you faced, the deeper your story.
Well, am I going to be okay? Am I going to be able to walk?
There's just so much creativity in this town that it's hard to hide it.
Well, you have these beliefs, well, what do you do with it?
The hosts of Senior Stay or Go TV are joining us on set today. Please welcome senior advocates and realtors of Greenwald Gerke Real Estate, Ron Greenwald and Patti Gerke.
And here they are in the studio on that side. What's going on, y'all?
I know. I feel so different to be on this side of the fence.
Much easier, isn't it?
No, actually not.
Not at all.
No, because we don't know what you're going to ask.
Well, you do
Yeah,
to an extent.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
and thank you for being here. And thank you for all the things that you guys do in the community. It's been a big thing for me since I was in college and, volunteered at a nursing home. And you guys don't like that, but that's what we called it. I was volunteering at a nursing home.
Skilled nursing home.
It was a facility where people went to who really needed a lot of help. But it was such a profound experience for me. It made me realize that, gosh, every one of these people was just like me at one point, and I'm going to be just like them. The cycle of life, this is how it works.
Hope.
Yeah, that's the goal. You dodge the exit, you make it there, right? Because that's the alternative. So it really changed things for me. In fact, it impacted my life in a major, major way. But what I realized in being there was that a lot of times people who get to a certain point in their life, they sort of run out of options, or they don't know what their options are, or whoever's taking care of them doesn't know what their options are. And when I found that you guys were doing this, you were actually walking people through this, explaining to them what options are, I was like, wow, that is a truly amazing thing that doesn't really exist anywhere else. And you two are the experts on senior housing options in San Diego. Everybody knows you. I mean, everybody all over San Diego knows you for this. And you've had to spend a lot of time to get yourselves into that position. What I wanted to do today was to let's flesh some of those things out. It's coming up more and more in my life. It's coming up more and more in the other shows that we're doing, that these things are an issue. What do you do? What happens when X? And a lot of times it could be that, either mom or dad or grandpa or grandma passes, or, gets to a certain point where they need additional help. I mean, where do you start when someone comes to you and says, "Oh, here's what's happening," Gerkster?
That's easier said than done, actually, because first of all, what you try to find is you try and find people who are open to options and suggestions. So a lot of times the family members may be open to options and suggestions, but the senior may not be, because they're pretty much, you're gonna take me out of here in a pine box. So if that's their mindset and they're not open to anything, it takes time, a lot of time, to get them to that point. And so a lot of times, most times it takes some kind of incident to really get them to realize that maybe staying at home alone isn't the best option. So they may fall and break their hip, or they may fall and not break anything but scare themselves enough. Or if they're starting to lose their cognitive abilities, they may go to the grocery store one day and then get in the car and think, how do I get home now? And so sometimes it takes those kinds of things for the senior to actually recognize it versus the family recognizing it.
And if you're the family, I would just say, trust your instincts on this. If you notice something, if something doesn't seem right, if something doesn't feel right, take that as your warning from God. I mean, literally, because that is what it is. That is your opportunity to say, let's get ahead of this thing. Because when a fall takes place, I recently lost my grandpa because of a fall. He fell, he broke his hip. Within 2 days, he was done. He had the surgery and all that stuff, but it's so traumatic. That's all it takes.
Yep.
That fall, and it's over. And then you start second guessing yourselves. Well, what else could we have done? How could it have been better set up? and you can't go back and make those changes. So trust your instincts when you notice and you feel something isn't right, or an incident like that happens where mom or dad, they went to the grocery store, and then the next day they went to the grocery store and bought all the same stuff again. Mm-hmm. And they came home and you notice there's 2 of everything. And you go, what's going on? That's a sign. That's a sign right there. So why should people be excited about, because there's a lot of options now, right? But why should seniors, and why should their adult children be excited about what some of those options are? Right?
I think Patty and I have really surrounded ourselves with an amazing team of people, and that's what I'm excited about, is that team is growing every day in terms of whether from the legal standpoint, the home care standpoint, the senior housing standpoint, all the different people that need to come and support the family and support the senior. They're really starting to get their that team of people is growing, and the professionalism is growing, and the awareness is growing to really put the right people in place to really get the message out of what needs to be done on a proactive basis. But what I'm most excited about is the free enterprise world, is the longevity marketplaces that we're calling it. Entrepreneurs are really finding the need that there is this opportunity to really bring product and services that benefit the quality of life of our seniors. And AARP is on board with it, which is a huge plus. There are conferences almost every month that Patty and I could go to if we wanted to on new product and services that are coming to marketplace through collaboration of nonprofit and for-profit industries that are going to have a great impact on our seniors' quality of life. That's exciting.
So it's changed. It isn't.
It's changing.
It's kind of interesting though, because it's like, baby boomers were born 70 years ago was the first baby boomer, right? So it's not like we're new to this environment and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, we have this huge influx of baby boomers. It's like, yeah, we've kind of been around a while. We didn't just appear.
But now the open marketplace has said, okay, well, that's coming. And at the same time, looking at a lot of people who want that additional quality of life. And I think it's amazing because you've put a lot of seniors now have the ability to sort of control their own destiny, to be able to go to one of these amazing places that we've featured on the show in the past, Wesley Palms, the list goes on, of you go there and you're like, this is a resort, essentially. I mean, everything and anything you want at your fingertips, you name it, you've got it. If they don't have it, they'll get it for you. That's incredible. So I think for a lot of people, especially people who worked really hard, who saved, and who are capable of it, it's amazing just to have those options available and have multiple places, not just one place, not just the one nice place to go to, but options.
Well, and I think our society has changed. So when I grew up, my grandmother lived with us. So we were there to take care of her. Families aren't that tight-knit anymore. In some cultures they still are, but overall, even other countries are feeling the fact that the young people have moved on or moved away for employment opportunities or whatever it may be. And so you don't have that, grandma and grandpa, mom and dad, kids, everybody living together, supporting one another, taking care of one another. People have moved all over the world for employment opportunities or just any kind of choice that they made to live someplace else. And so families not as tight-knit and as close by physically as they used to be. So I think, the seniors that are proactive and realize that, look, I have children, but that doesn't mean they're going to take care of me. I need to plan for myself. Those are the people that are going to find the options quicker and easier. It's the ones who wait for something to happen that it's harder for them to find the options because they need them like now, and you don't know where to look or where to go to find them. And so that's why what we're trying to do is bring that information to the forefront so that everybody can have that information. I mean, I lived it myself with my own parents, and unfortunately a lot of times my mom had vascular dementia. That's a disease process that you can't always be proactive. You kind of have to wait to see what's coming next. And that was my biggest frustration, was you're always waiting to see what's coming next and then having to react instead of being able to plan or be proactive.
But now for a lot of people, they're able to do that, which is amazing.
Exactly.
In fact,
But one thing hasn't changed in life is the family dysfunction. And that is one thing we do real estate by day and senior advocates the rest of the time. And one thing we still find is no matter how proactive you can be, no matter how many products and services are out there, getting
everybody on the
same page, there's just everybody comes from different perspectives, and that's the toughest one that we see. And we see that every day when we hear the stories of family dysfunction, and that's sad, and that really has a huge impact on what mom and dad will do.
Yeah, and it is definitely something that is almost ever present, unless you have an only child situation. There's almost always some sort of conflict there, but having you guys as advocates in the process is really helpful because you've seen it, you've been there before, you can be involved as much as needed.
And bring in the third party who is not a family member who says, okay, here's some options and here's what we think is best for you, versus one of the family members trying to tell the other family member what they think is best. When you bring in that third party, it's like, okay.
We could definitely go on for a long time about all the complications that are involved in this particular space that you guys are in, but I just commend you on taking the leap, being such great advocates for seniors in the community, bringing things to light that a lot of people, elder abuse, several things from your show, Senior Stay or Go TV, which you can watch right here on this channel, and that's just such a big thing, and I don't see anyone else doing it, so I really commend you guys for that. Thank you so much for coming in today. I really, really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.